What would happen if leaders of nations began exposing the West? Russian President Vladimir Putin has taken the initiative to shed light on France's reality. He discussed France's concerns about Russia's relationship with Africa, revealing that France is not concerned about Africa being exploited, but rather about Africa not being exploited by France's own hands. This upfront statement by a state leader is unprecedented. However, one might wonder why France remains silent. Are they searching for words or preparing scripts? France, along with the entire West, has had reservations about Russia's presence in Africa and has consistently questioned it. Putin's response to these concerns has sent shockwaves through France and the Western countries. So, what are the key points made by Putin regarding Russia's relationship with France and its growing influence in Africa? Putin acknowledges the tensions between Russia and France, particularly in the context of Russia's increasing involvement in Africa. He references French President Emmanuel Macron's emotional reaction, highlighting the sensitivity of the issues at hand. Now, let's delve into the details of Putin's remarks, starting with his insights into Macron's motivations behind reacting to Russia's African activities. He suggests that broader challenges within certain African states influence Macron's reaction. By acknowledging the internal dynamics and complexities within African countries, Putin provides a nuanced understanding of the factors shaping French regional policy. Overall, Putin's statements shed light on the complex dynamics between Russia, France, and Africa, revealing motivations, tensions, and historical contexts that play a role in their relationships. Putin's insights into Macron's perspective on Russia's activities in Africa demonstrate his awareness of the socio-political dynamics at play in the region. To address concerns about Russia's involvement in Africa, particularly through the activities of the Wagner Group, Putin offers clarification and emphasizes Russia's intentions. He clarifies that Russia's support for the Wagner Group's activities in Africa is not driven by any intention to undermine French interests or destabilize the region. Instead, he emphasizes that Russia's involvement is motivated by the presence of a Russian entity and its strategic interests. Putin suggests that French-African relations are shaped by broader challenges within certain African states. He also underscores the competition between major African powers like Russia and France, implicitly recognizing the challenges faced by France in maintaining its traditional sphere of influence on the continent. Regarding Putin's view of Africa, he acknowledges its global strategic importance, citing its abundant resources and geopolitical significance. He also suggests that Russia and France, along with other major powers, actively vie for influence in Africa, each pursuing their strategic interests. Despite the competitive nature of geopolitical competition in Africa, Putin stresses the importance of dialogue and constructive engagement. He emphasizes the need for direct and open communication between major powers like Russia and France, suggesting that dialogue can help manage tensions and promote regional stability. Putin highlights several key points about the significance of dialogue in navigating international relations, particularly in Africa. He suggests that international relations, especially in regions like Africa, are characterized by complex dynamics influenced by historical legacies, sociopolitical factors, and competing interests. Putin suggests that through dialogue, nations can foster mutual understanding and empathy, enabling them to appreciate each other's perspectives and interests. Putin's statements have broader implications for international relations. His remarks highlight the growing recognition of Africa's strategic importance in global affairs. With abundant resources, growing economies, and demographic potential, Africa has become a crucial battleground for geopolitical competition and economic cooperation among major powers. As emerging powers like Russia assert their influence on the global stage, Africa becomes a focal point for geopolitical competition, reshaping the traditional balance of power. Moreover, Putin's remarks underscore the complexity of geopolitical competition in Africa, influenced by historical legacies, sociopolitical dynamics, and competing interests. Putin's words suggest that Africa presents significant development and growth opportunities for both African nations and external partners. Putin's remarks also highlight the challenges of governance and security in Africa, which continue to shape the continent's trajectory. Addressing issues such as conflict resolution, terrorism, and governance reform becomes essential for fostering stability and enabling Africa to realize its full potential on the global stage. As for which nation Africa prefers to collaborate with, Putin's statements shed light on recent shifts in Africa's diplomatic landscape. While historically, traditional partners like France held significant sway, Africa's evolving geopolitical dynamics have led to a growing preference for collaboration with Russia. This strategic choice reflects Africa's interests and the mutual benefits arising from strong ties with Russia. Africa's inclination towards collaboration with Russia stems from several key factors. Firstly, Russia's approach to engagement with African nations is characterized by a commitment to sovereignty and non-interference in internal affairs, which resonates with African states' desire for autonomy and respect for their independence on the global stage. Unlike some Western powers, Russia's policies prioritize mutual respect and cooperation without imposing ideological or political conditions. Moreover, Russia's historical ties with Africa provide a solid foundation for collaboration. During the Cold War, Russia maintained strong diplomatic, economic, and military ties with several African nations. These historical connections have fostered a sense of trust and familiarity, making Russia a natural partner for African states seeking to diversify their international relations. Economically, Africa sees significant potential in collaborating with Russia. Russia boasts expertise in key sectors, such as energy, mining, infrastructure, and technology, which are crucial for Africa's development aspirations. By partnering with Russia, African nations can leverage Russian expertise and resources to accelerate their economic growth and industrialization efforts. Furthermore, Russia's approach to international relations emphasizes pragmatism and mutual benefit. Unlike some Western nations, Russia does not attach political conditions to its economic assistance or investment projects in Africa. This approach aligns with Africa's vision for mutually beneficial partnerships based on equality and reciprocity. Russia offers African nations access to advanced military technology, training, and expertise in security and defense cooperation. As security challenges continue to pose significant threats to stability in various parts of Africa, collaboration with Russia in defense and security provides African states with the tools and capabilities necessary to address these challenges effectively. Determining which country, Russia or France, serves Africa's interests better is subjective and depends on various factors. These factors include African nations' specific needs and goals, the nature of engagement with each country, and the outcomes of their interactions. Russia's approach to Africa is characterized by pragmatic economic partnerships and a commitment to respecting sovereignty. It offers advanced military technology and expertise without attaching political conditions, emphasizing mutual benefit. Historical ties contribute to a sense of trust between Russia and African nations. Conversely, France provides extensive economic and development assistance, fostering infrastructural growth and capacity building. Cultural ties cultivated over decades facilitate cooperation, and France offers various security initiatives to promote regional stability. However, perceptions of neocolonialism and concerns about political influence may undermine trust in France's intentions. While we have discussed these aspects in detail, it is better to leave it to you to decide which nation is best for Africa. Make sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section. As for whether France is jealous of relations between Africa and Russia, while this notion might appear speculative, a closer examination unveils intriguing dynamics and perceptions. France's concerns, purportedly rooted in apprehensions about Russia's intentions towards Africa, are often dismissed as manifestations of jealousy. However, it is worth considering if these concerns are merely a smokescreen for deeper anxieties. At the heart of this debate lies the complex web of historical, political, and economic ties that bind France to its former colonies in Africa. Over the years, France has wielded significant influence across the continent, leveraging diplomatic channels, economic partnerships, and military cooperation to maintain its grip. However, perceptions of French neocolonialism have cast a shadow over these relationships, with accusations of exploitation and paternalism echoing from various quarters. In contrast, Russia's engagement with Africa presents a contrasting narrative. While historically less entrenched in African affairs than France, Russia's recent overtures have been characterized by pragmatism and a purportedly sincere desire for mutually beneficial cooperation. Putin's diplomatic overtures, strategic investments, and arms deals have resonated positively with several African nations, fostering a sense of trust and confidence. Central to the argument of France's jealousy is the perceived shift in Africa's trust from traditional Western powers towards emerging players like Russia. This shift, driven by disillusionment with past colonial legacies and a quest for alternative partnerships, has rattled the status quo. France, long accustomed to being the dominant player in Africa's geopolitical landscape, now grapples with a new reality where its influence is being challenged. Moreover, accusations of exploitation leveled against France by African nations further exacerbate the perceived jealousy. While France vehemently denies these allegations, pointing to decades of development assistance and cultural exchange programs, the underlying power dynamics cannot be overlooked. The asymmetrical nature of Franco-African relations, characterized by unequal trade agreements, resource extraction, and military interventions, continues to fuel resentment and skepticism. In contrast, Russia's approach appears less tainted by historical baggage, offering African nations a fresh perspective and alternative avenues for cooperation. Putin's emphasis on sovereignty, non-interference, and mutual respect strikes a chord with African leaders who seek partnerships based on equality and mutual benefit. The absence of a colonial legacy positions Russia as a viable alternative to traditional Western powers, thereby unsettling France's dominance in the region. Critics of France's stance argue that its concerns about Russia's intentions towards Africa are unfounded and driven by ulterior motives. Instead of genuinely worrying about Africa's welfare, France's purported jealousy serves as a pretext to safeguard its interests and preserve its waning influence. By framing Russia as a potential exploiter, France seeks to deflect attention from its track record of exploitation and maintain its grip on African resources and markets. Putin's rhetoric, emphasizing cooperation, solidarity, and respect for African sovereignty, further undermines France's narrative of Russian exploitation. By positioning Russia as a sincere partner committed to Africa's development, Putin strikes a chord with African nations disillusioned with Western hegemony. The success of Russian-led initiatives in various sectors, from energy and infrastructure to defense and education, bolsters Russia's image as a reliable ally capable of delivering tangible benefits.